Hello my darlings, it's rights respecting time, and today I thought I'd share with you one of the books that I have, which is all about your rights and all about the very many different rights that you have. And this is called I Have the Right to Be a Child, okay? And lots of different people have contributed to this book. And on the back, on the blurb, it says, I am a child, but do I have rights? What about the right to know, express and talk about my rights? Okay, and then we're going to go through the story together, and it talks about all your different rights. Just inside here, it says, in 1989, so just over 30 years ago, world leaders decided that children needed a special set of rights just for them. The Convention on the Rights of the Child was written by the United Nations, so that's like a whole group of countries of nations who all joined together and agreed it. So 193 countries around the world, and it comprises, so it is 54 articles joined together basically, which makes up the Convention on the Rights of the Child. And it's a legally binding international agreement. That means it goes across countries, and legally binding means like it's to do with the law. So very important, and incorporates all the minimum basic human rights, so all humans have rights, that all children are entitled to and that all governments should respect. So yeah, it's very, very important. And then we've got this lovely, lovely book that's been made. So here we go. I am a child. I've got eyes, hands, a voice and a heart. But have I got rights? Have I got the right to a surname and a first name? To a family that cares about me and a country where I feel at home? Or the right to eat and drink enough so I can grow up strong and healthy? Oranges are my favourite food. You can drink them and you can eat them. So as we go through, you can talk about these different rights and talk about them with your adult and discuss maybe what your favourite things are. So here we go. What do you think the answer is to this one? What's the answer to this one? I hope that you know the answers. Because so far the answers are yes, of course you have these rights. But of course oranges don't have to be your favourite food. This is just one person. This is watermelon. I love watermelon. Do I have the right to a roof over my head? A home that isn't freezing or baking hot? A place I can feel safe, nothing fancy, but with everything I need? And the answer is yes, of course you have that right. It doesn't mean that you get to have everything that you want, because having everything that you need is different from having everything that you want. And that's quite an interesting thing to discuss. Or the right to be cared for using the best treatments available to humans. So I can run and climb and shout, today I'm full of bounce. So the right to your health care, people to look after you. Is it my right to go to school for free so that I can reach for the sky? I'd like to learn how birds and planes fly and why poppy seeds blow on the breeze. Everybody should be able to go to school. Nobody should be charged for it. You should all be able to learn as much as you want so that you can do the very best that you can. Education is so important. If girls and boys are different, can our rights be exactly the same? Girls, 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 and boys, boys, boys. Are we singing the same song? Are we making the same noise? That's an interesting one. Of course, everyone should be treated equally, shouldn't they? But sometimes you might have to look after people slightly differently. It would maybe depend. Will people respect me whether I'm black or white, tall or short, rich or poor? Born here or somewhere else? Will people respect me for who I am? So lots of interesting questions on those last couple of pages, really. Because we are all different. And here it's talking about girls and boys, but we could also talk about things like disabilities, couldn't we? Because we should all be treated equally, but sometimes we have to adjust how we treat people, because we should all be treated the same. We are all entitled to be treated just as well as each other, but sometimes we might have to slightly change how we treat people to make things manageable depending on people's needs, and that's something that we have to consider as well. And this one is something we've been talking about recently. Of course, everybody should be respected for who they are, no matter what they look like, because really, or how much money they have or don't have, or where they're born, because really none of that matters. What matters is who you are and how you behave, because that tells the world who you are. That you are a good person, kind person, kind of person that you want to be. Can I feel confident that my parents, my friends, and my country will help me if my body works in a different way to other people's? So we have to take care of people. Why should I suffer any kind of violence? Nobody has the right to abuse my childhood. Nobody. So nobody ever has the right to hurt you. No matter who they are, nobody ever has the right to hurt you. How about refusing to go to work when I could be at school? I'd like to choose the right job for me after I've finished learning. Absolutely. No child should be in work when they should be at school. Like, you're all at school, aren't you? You shouldn't be going to work. You're far too young. You need to do your learning first, and then you can find a job that's right for you when you're older. Can I rely on grown-ups for shelter from disasters and bad experiences raining down on me? Okay, so it doesn't literally mean rain. It means that, can you rely on the adults in your life to look after you when things aren't going so well? Hopefully you can. But if you can't, you need to talk to other people. Okay, you can always find somebody to talk to if things aren't going right. Why does any child have to experience weapons or war? I'm scared of missiles that streak the sky and things that explode in the dark. So we're lucky, thankfully, in this country we don't have to worry about that, but some children, they do go through that in their countries. That's very, very scary. How about the right to breathe clean air, pure as the sky is blue and icebergs are white? We've been doing lots of learning about, the right to things like clean air and a clean environment. And you should have that right. Unfortunately, our air is not clean enough, but we can learn about it and hopefully do our part to make our environment better. Can playing be a right too? What about creating or imagining? This could be as simple as pulling funny faces and doing somersaults, or as important as having friends because no one wants to dance alone. And that is absolutely your right. It is a right to play. You have the right to play. You are a child and you have that right to play. Do I have the right to discover what makes a true friend, or what peace makes, or how to respect our planet and every person who lives on it? Those are such important things to learn. Every animal that makes it their home and every plant that nourishes it. Those are all things that we must learn. Do I have the right to express myself freely, to say what I really think, even if mum doesn't agree? And we don't all agree, even in our families, even in our friendship groups, we don't all necessarily agree all the time. to say what I really feel, even if Dad isn't so sure. We should have that right to express ourselves. Well, guess what? Yes, I do have all these rights because my country has signed the International Convention on the Rights of the Child, along with 193 other countries, and because I am a child. But when will every child in the world have their rights respected? Tomorrow? The day after? In 20 years' time? Who knows? The right to be a child is now, because right now is when we are children. And there we go. That is the end. So you use every opportunity that comes your way, my darlings, and enjoy all your rights, because they are precious and they are yours and they are wonderful. And unfortunately, not everybody gets to have them, even though they should. But they are great, from the fun ones like the right to play and imagine, to the very important ones that you must always remember, like the right to your education and the right to never have to suffer any violence from anyone. So enjoy, my darlings, and I hope you love the beautiful pictures and remember the very important words.